All right, let's bring in Craig Button today, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Craig Button, the city is flying high today. The vibes are good after one of the most insane first periods of hockey that we've witnessed in a long time. Man, did the Oilers set the tone in the first last night.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And they carried it through the second and third period. Obviously, they said, this is how we're going to play, and they challenged Vegas to see if they could get up to that level. And when they put the pedal to the metal and throttled them in the first period, obviously Vegas is a team that, has been through some challenges, and they got back up and kind of tried, but they never had a foot in the game. They just never had. I mean, that might be the most complete game. And I'm going to say this. The most complete game I've seen the Oilers play in the playoffs in the last two playoffs. That's how complete it was.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody would debate that with him. I'm trying to think back to last year. You know what I mean?
And the hitting and everything else.
Yeah, physically. Was... I mean, the guys who are in the lineup to hit are basically hitting everything that moves. And just sticking with that first period, what's it do to a team when you see your goaltender kind of become unglued a little bit like Hill was last night? Seemed like they got him off his game very early.
Well, I think you're always trying to unsettle a goaltender. You're trying to unsettle a goaltender in different ways. Now, in hockey, you can drive the net. You can drive to the scoring area. I mean, I loved what Evander Kane, people say, he took he got pushed from behind. Evander Kane on that goal by Henrique, he's going to the net and he gets a little push, so why not fall on the goalie? I mean, this is playoff hockey. This is the way it is. And so to me, when the goaltender starts to show that, oh boy, I'm taking the bait, that just gives you more opportunity to put more bait in the water, so to speak, and get after him. And they did. They got right after him. And I thought that Aiden Hill realized, okay, I better settle down here because I'm not helping myself and I'm feeding right into it. But the Oilers set the tone, and they never stopped with the tone. It was impressive. It was really, really impressive. I said this last night, guys. I said, I think the Oilers at this point right now are playing better than they were at this point last year in the playoffs against Vancouver.
You're bang on. I just wanted to get to your point about Kane as well, and you saw Hill stick out his toe a bit and trip you. I love the gamesmanship on both sides. I think it added a lot of spice to last night's game. But the first period, I mean, we talk about that. We talk about the game. I'm going even before that into the lineups, and we were all around here in the office yesterday, and the debate was flying around. Do you make a change? Do you split up McDavid, Draisaitl? And I think going off game 3, I mean, you could or you couldn't. It wouldn't matter anyway with that late goal. But Knoblauch decided to make a couple of changes, a couple that were, perhaps sneered at by some. But again, he's got his finger on the pulse. You've talked about him and how you like his little, differences. We call them knob adjustments around here, playing off his last name. But your thoughts on those changes? Kapanen, Stetcher, obviously adding a little more speed, and obviously last night a lot more bite to the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. And I'll talk a little bit about the bite and what it can do to a Vegas defense. As a coach, when Chris came in November of 2023, the first thing you got to do is establish trust with the players. And you're going to make moves and you're going to make decisions, and that's going to build your trust. If you make the right ones, it strengthens. If you make the wrong ones, it weakens. All Chris has done is strengthen that trust between the players and his coaching staff. He also did something that I thought was brilliant, that I think all coaches have to do. He made everybody feel valued. I've said this about Jay Woodcroft before. Like, the minute anything didn't go right, it was McDavid and Draisaitl. Well, how can anybody else feel important or valued when you just keep putting it on those two guys? He created a value proposition for all the players on the team, and he got a deeper lineup. Oh, yeah, by the way, look at what they got now. So we go into last night. So you don't sit there and go, hey, Leon, we're going to put Podkolzin and Kapanen on your wings. Like if he does that and he doesn't have the trust of the players, like Leon Draisaitl's rolling his eyes. What the hell is this? But because he's built up the trust with his players, now Leon's like, yeah, let's go. Let's go. And Leon can. I mean, we could put Eric and Dustin on his flanks, and Leon can carry. That's how great he is. And I say that with the greatest respect for Leon Draisaitl. But it's building up that trust that what I'm doing here is something that I believe helps our team win. And all he does is continually get results, just result after result after result. And I think that last night, I believe that watching the Vegas Golden Knights blue line, it's not that strong. It's not that strong. Shea Theodore by far is their best defenseman. Alex Pietrangelo obviously is not the same player once. He looks like he's ailing. And then after that, you know, they struggle. They struggle with speed, and they struggle with the force of the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that's one of the big things Chris Knobloch wanted to take advantage of, and did.
So I don't want to gloss over Stetcher getting into the lineup, because you know they had Emerson in for a while. You know, he's done some good things, but they would kind of limit his minutes and then just roll 5 guys and sort of move them around a little bit. With Stetcher in there, they could kind of just go with 3 pairs last night and not have to worry about it. How big is that for a blue line to know who you're going to be out there with every single time 5-on-5?
I think it's important. I mean, good players adjust and adapt. I also think the way the Edmonton Oilers play, like with their defense, they want to move the puck real quick and get moving out of their zone. And so Troy Stetcher does that better than Ty Emberson. And then that allows you now, like depending on how the opponent is forechecking or where they're trying to focus some of their attention to try to get the puck. Now Troy is really good with the puck. He's always been really good with the puck. And to your point, Dustin, now you get that continuity with the pairs and the group. And I thought on Saturday night, the 5 defensemen were really good. I mean, he's moving them around in different spots. And, you know, and one thing I have to say, you bring up Troy Stetcher. I mean, I want playoff Brett Kulak on my team.
Yeah.
This guy is something else. I mean, he's a good regular season player. I don't want to take anything away from Brett Kulak in the regular season. But boy, when the playoffs start, the playoffs are about kicking up a notch. Brett Kulak should be the poster boy.
He's an excellent skater. I always think that's why he's emerged, or he's not maybe emerged, but you know, some guys, the playoffs are just too much. They're not too much for Kulak, I think, because he moves extremely well. He's
agreed.
Yeah, he's excellent back there. You know, we haven't really got to it yet, which is kind of surprising considering the storyline going into this game. But Stuart Skinner last night didn't have to stop 30 or 40, made some big saves in the first period when it was a bit of a wild zone, and then just didn't give up anything the rest of the way. What did you think of his performance last night, and what does it do for him moving forward?
Well, I'll answer the second question. Obviously, it builds your confidence. When you've been struggling like Stuart Skinner, you know, there's no question that will help his confidence. And you know one thing about the goaltenders, in this case, Stuart, he's been working hard behind the scenes to try to make sure that he gets his form back and working on the technique. But with respect to Stuart Skinner, he needed to be good last night. He needed to be good right from the beginning last night. And he was. And I think that speaks volumes about just focusing in on what I am. I've said this before, and you guys know it. Everybody knows it. Stuart Skinner doesn't have to play stand-on-your-head goaltending. He just has to be what he is. Just play good. He's been a good goaltender. And if he just does the things that he can do, then he'll be fine. When he gets out of his form, it becomes problematic for him. I thought he was on form. I thought that he was really sharp. And again, I'll finish by saying he needed to be. He needed to be because the team needed him to be.
2 quick things before we let you go, Craig. One, is Carolina just really that good? I mean, I've been like, I don't know if Carolina's that, but are they just really, really good? Or is there going to be, they get to the conference final and they're swept again?
Well, I don't know if they're going to get swept. I do know this, like the Edmonton Oilers right now, they are playing so well and so committed, and every single player. I mean, they're just swarming the Washington Capitals. I mean, it really is. I mean, suffocating would be a better word. They're swarming them and suffocating them. And when you find that level of play, like at this point and at this time of the year, you're going to have success. So they look really good, and that's what it's all about. It's about playing good when it matters the most.
And then Kenny Holland expected to be named the general manager of the Kings later today, which just adds a nice wrinkle into this. Oilers Kings, if they meet in the playoffs next year, Ken Holland's the one who's going to go and try to build the team that eliminate his former team. I wasn't sure if he'd find his way back into the game or want to get back into the game, but I do think the Kings are in a pretty good spot where Ken Holland can add 2 or 3 guys. They'd be a very, very good team. What do you think of that decision?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know, Ken Holland's nickname is Hollywood, so it was just about time that he ended up in he'll be wearing bell bottoms, and he'll be wearing all the jewelry. It'll be unbelievable. You won't know if he's a Laker or a King when he walks into the building there. All kidding aside with Kenny, I think for the LA Kings, looking to bring in somebody, if it wasn't going to be Marc Bergevin or somebody else within the organization, finding somebody that knows the Western Conference, I think would be really positive. And Kenny Holland knows the Western Conference. I think bringing in somebody from the East, now you're trying to get up to speed. You're not only trying to get up to speed on your own team, you're trying to get up to speed on the rest of the conference. So I think for the LA Kings hiring Ken Holland, we know what his experience is, but he's got real significant knowledge of the Western Conference, and as you pointed out, having played the LA Kings 3 times in his tenure versus his tenure as GM, he's got real knowledge. And Kenny follows the game; he knows what's happening. I think I think for the LA Kings, they're looking to go to another level, and I think Kenny can hug. Kenny did a lot of great things here for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
We can talk about.
He turned this franchise around, man. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah, he did, and so the Kings are looking to get some of that Kenny Holland magic.
Craig, as always, man, we appreciate it. Thank you very much for the time.
Yeah, have a great day.
There you go. That is Craig Button, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports.